Sagittarius, I need you to listen carefully because 2026 is going to flip everything you thought you knew about love completely upside down. You've spent your whole life running. From commitment, from expectations, from anyone who gets too close. You've convinced yourself that love means losing your freedom, that relationships are cages, that being tied down kills your spirit. But 2026, it's showing you that real freedom doesn't come from running. It comes from choosing someone and choosing them again every single day. From finding a person who doesn't clip your wings, but learns to fly with you. This is the year you stop confusing loneliness with independence. Stop mistaking fear with wanderlust. Stop leaving before you can be left if you're exhausted from always moving, always searching, always wondering if there's something better around the next corner. This video is for you. Because what's coming will challenge everything, scare the hell out of you, and possibly give you exactly what you've been looking for all along. Here's your roadmap, January-February. The restlessness hits hard. You realize running isn't working anymore. March-April, a random adventure leads to meeting someone who doesn't try to hold you down. May-June, first time saying I love you without immediately booking a flight somewhere July-August. The freak-out phase. Your commitment fears go nuclear, September-October. Choosing to stay becomes your biggest adventure yet, November-December. Planning a future without feeling trapped. The turning point, late March, on a hiking trail you almost didn't take. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start where you are right now. January starts and you're already planning your escape. Maybe it's booking flights to 3 different countries. Maybe it's researching graduate programs, though, overseas. Maybe it's just scrolling through travel Instagram at 2 a.m., feeling that familiar itch under your skin. You tell yourself you're adventurous, spontaneous, free-spirited. But around January 11th, something shifts. You're at a coffee shop alone, watching a couple laugh together over something stupid, and you feel it. Not wanderlust, loneliness. You've been calling it independence, but sitting there with your passport full of stamps and your phone full of acquaintances, you realize you don't actually have anyone to call. Not really, not the way that couple has each other. Mid-January, you do something unusual for you. You sit still, not physically. You're probably bouncing your leg under the table, but mentally you stop running from the question that's been chasing you for years. What are you actually running from? A friend asks you to be in their wedding. You say yes, then immediately feel trapped. Why does a simple RSVP feel like a prison sentence? Why does making plans 6 months out give you hives? February brings an intervention you didn't see coming. Your best friend, the one person who knows all your patterns, sits you down. I love you, but you're exhausting. Every time someone gets close, you disappear. You literally left the country last time someone said they were falling for you. You laugh it off. That trip was already planned. Was it though? The question lands, because no, it wasn't. You booked that flight the same night they said those 3 words. If February 18th, you try something radical. You don't leave. There's a conversation happening that makes you uncomfortable. Your roommate wants to talk about next year's lease. Normally you'd make an excuse, change the subject, avoid committing to anything beyond next week. Instead you say, yeah, okay, let's renew. It's just an apartment lease, but signing your name on that line feels like jumping out of a plane. Terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. That night, you don't sleep well. Every instinct is screaming at you to take it back, to keep your options open, to stay free. But morning comes and you're still there, still committed, still breathing. Turns out commitment doesn't kill you after all March arrives and you're feeling cagey again. Spring always does this to you. Everything's waking up, blooming, moving, and you need to move too. You need an adventure, something new, something that reminds you you're alive. March 8th, you do something impulsive. You sign up for a solo hiking trip. 3 days in the mountains, no phone service, just you, nature, and whatever thoughts you can't outrun at altitude, Your friends think you're crazy. It's still freezing up there. Perfect, you say. And you mean it. March 22nd, the trail. Day 2 of the hike. You're making good time, feeling that familiar high of being alone and free and answerable to no one. This is what you needed. This is who you are. Then you take a wrong turn. Not dangerously wrong, but wrong enough that you're backtracking, frustrated, when you run into another hiker coming from the opposite direction. Lost, they ask, and there's no judgment in it. Just genuine curiosity. Creatively exploring alternate routes, you shoot back. They laugh, actually laugh. Mind if I creatively explore with you? I was getting bored of the main trail anyway. Here's the thing about this moment. They don't offer to show you the right way. They don't try to fix your mistake or take over your map. They just offer to be lost with you, and something in your chest cracks open just a little bit. You hike together for 6 hours. They tell you about quitting their job to travel for a year. You tell them about the time you showed up at the airport with no destination and just picked the first international flight boarding. They get it. The need for movement, for newness, for freedom. But they also tell you about coming home, about realizing that running to something is different than running from something. About learning that adventure and stability aren't opposites. You can have roots and wings, they say at one point. They're not mutually exclusive. You've heard that phrase before. It always sounded like bullshit. But coming from them, from someone who's clearly lived it, it sounds different. Possible, almost. At the trailhead, you make a decision. Normally, this is where you do your thing. Amazing connection, great conversation, then walk away forever. Keep it perfect by keeping it brief. But something stops you. Can I get your number? You hear yourself asking. They smile. I was hoping you'd ask. April is weird. You're texting someone regularly, making plans more than 2 days in advance. Actually showing up to those plans. It feels wrong and right at the same time, like wearing shoes on the wrong feet, but somehow they're more comfortable that way. April 14th, your first real date. Not the hiking trail, not a chance encounter. An actual planned date where you both shower and show up and acknowledge that something is happening here. You're nervous in a way you haven't been in years. You've had flings, adventures, passionate weekends in foreign cities. But this feels different, more real, more terrifying. Over dinner, they tell you they're not looking for casual. I did casual for years. I'm good at casual, but I'm tired of it. Every alarm in your body goes off. This is it. This is where you usually bolt. But you remember what your friend said in February about how exhausting your pattern is, about how you disappear. So instead of running, you tell the truth. That terrifies me. The idea of not being casual. I'm really good at leaving. I'm really bad at staying. They nod slowly. Okay, so what if we just start with being honest about being terrified? That's it? You ask. That's the plan? You want a more detailed plan? I thought you hated plans. You laugh despite yourself. Fair point. April 28th, they ask you to meet their friends. Your immediate reaction is to check flight prices. Your second reaction is to realize that's your reaction and actually laugh out loud at yourself. You meet their friends. It's fine. Actually, it's better than fine. They're interesting people with good stories. One of them just got back from Thailand. Another is planning a trip to Patagonia. These aren't people trying to trap you in suburbia. They're adventurous people who've also chosen to build something here. Driving home, you realize something. You've been so afraid of being stuck that you never notice there are people who've figured out how to be both rooted and free, who travel and come home, who commit and still explore. Maybe, just maybe, you could be one of them. May hits and you're in uncharted territory. You're in a relationship. Not officially, you haven't had the conversation, but you're seeing each other multiple times a week. You've met friends. You're making plans in plural. We should check out that new restaurant. We could go camping next month. We. The word doesn't scare you as much as it used to. May 17th, The L word almost happens. You're watching sunset from their balcony, and they're telling some ridiculous story about their college years, and you feel it rising in your chest. That thing you've said maybe twice in your whole life, and never first. I love you. You swallow it down. Too soon, too much, too real. But it sits there in your throat for the rest of the night. May 29th, you finally say it. Not in some romantic, perfect moment. You're both exhausted, eating takeout on the floor because you still haven't bought a dining table, and they're laughing at something dumb, and it just comes out. I love you. The words hang there. You immediately want to take them back, qualify them, explain them away. They put down their food. Look at you. Yeah? Yeah, you say, and your voice shakes a little. Don't make it a big thing. Too late, it's a huge thing. But they're smiling. I love you too. You wait for the panic, for the urge to run. But it doesn't come. Instead, there's this weird feeling. Peace, maybe, or just rightness. June is about learning what love actually looks like day to day. Not the Instagram version, not the movie version, the real version where sometimes you're annoyed because they load the dishwasher wrong, but you're also grateful they loaded it at all. June 11th, your first real fight. They want to plan a trip together, like actually plan it. Book hotels in advance, make an itinerary. You want to just go, figure it out when you get there, be spontaneous. That's not spontaneous, they argue. That's just chaotic and stressful. Planning everything ruins the adventure, you counter. You're both right, you're both wrong, and you're both frustrated. Here's what's different this time. You don't leave. Not physically, not emotionally. You sit through the discomfort of disagreeing with someone you love. Eventually, you compromise. You book the flights and first night's hotel. Everything else you'll figure out together. It's not perfect, but it's yours. Late June, you realize something that changes everything. You haven't checked flight prices in 3 weeks. You haven't fantasized about leaving. You haven't even thought about what you're missing out on by being here. You're not trapped. You're choosing. And choosing feels completely different than being stuck. You tell your therapist this. Yes, you started therapy in March. Yes, you're still going. Yes, it's helping. What's the difference, they ask, between choosing and being stuck? You think about it. When I'm choosing, I could leave any time. I just don't want to. When I'm stuck, I want to leave but feel like I can't. And right now, I could get on a plane tomorrow. I have the money, the passport, the complete freedom, but I don't want to. I want to be here, with them. That's the craziest part. I actually want to stay. July brings the freak out you've been waiting for. Everything's been too good, too easy, too comfortable, and comfortable makes you nervous. July 8th, you sabotage, not consciously, at least not at first. You start picking fights over small things. You forget about plans. You bring up that job opportunity overseas that you're not even seriously considering. They call you on it on July 15th. What's going on? You're pulling away. I'm not pulling away. You are, and I need to know if you're done, because I can't do this if you're already halfway out the door. This is it. You're out. Your escape hatch. All you have to say is maybe we moved too fast or I need space and it's over. You can be free again, back to your old patterns, safe. But here's what you've learned over the past few months. Safe and free aren't the same thing. I'm freaking out, you admit instead. Everything's been really good and I don't know how to handle that. I keep waiting for it to fall apart. And when it doesn't, I guess I'm trying to make it fall apart first. They're quiet for a long time. Okay, so freak out. But freak out here with me, don't run. What if I want to run? Then tell me you want to run. We'll talk about it, but don't just disappear. That's the one thing I can't handle. You agree to what feels impossible, staying through the discomfort. The rest of July is messy. You're anxious, restless, difficult. You almost book a flight to anywhere twice. But you don't. You stay, you talk, you work through it. And slowly, the panic fades. August brings a different challenge. They want you to meet their family, their whole family, like a family reunion situation with aunts and cousins and grandparents. That's a lot of people, you say. It is. But they want to meet the person I won't shut up about. You feel that familiar tightness in your chest. Meeting friends is one thing. Meeting family is different. It's serious. It's saying this might be forever. August 20th, the family reunion. It's overwhelming. So many people asking so many questions. How did you meet? What do you do? Are you planning to settle down? That last question nearly sends you to the bathroom to spiral. Settle down, like you're a wild animal that needs taming. But then their mum pulls you aside. Don't mind Uncle Ron. He asks everyone that. Between you and me, I hope you two keep their adventurous. They've always been happiest when they're exploring something new. Really? Really. Just because you build a life together doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow together. That night, lying in a guest room in their childhood home, you ask the question that's been haunting you. Are we settling down? Is that what this is? They think about it. I don't think we're settling down. I think we're building a base camp, somewhere to come back to between adventures. Does that make sense? It does, more than anything has in a long time. Base camp, you repeat. I can do base camp. September is when you make the biggest commitment of your life. You get a plant. Laugh if you want, but for someone who's never stayed anywhere longer than a year, getting a plant that needs consistent watering and attention is huge. It's a metaphor, your therapist says. It's a succulent, you argue. Very low maintenance. Still a commitment. They're right. And the plant lives, thrives even. September 25th, the lease conversation. Your lease is up in 3 months. Usually this is when you'd start planning your exit strategy. Next city, next adventure, next life. Instead, you find yourself looking at bigger apartments, places with space for 2 people, maybe a home office, definitely room for more plants. Want to get a place together? You ask one night, trying to sound casual. They look up from their book. Are you sure? That's a big step. I'm terrified, you admit, but I want to be terrified with you. They smile. That might be the most romantic thing you've ever said. October is apartment hunting. You're surprised by how fun it is. Imagining your lives in different spaces, arguing about neighborhoods, compromising on distance to hiking trails versus distance to their work. October 31st, you sign a lease together. 1 year, renewable. In a neighborhood you both love. Your hand shakes slightly, signing your name, but this time it's not fear, it's excitement. We have a home, they say, looking at the keys. We have a base camp, you correct, for all our adventures. Best of both worlds. Yeah, you agree. Best of both worlds. November brings planning that doesn't feel like prison. You're booking a 3-week trip together for next spring. Real planning, flights, hotels, activities, and you're not panicking about committing to dates. You're excited. Should we leave room for spontaneity? They ask while researching. Obviously, but having a framework isn't the enemy, it's just a launch pad. They raise an eyebrow. Who are you and what have you done with my commitment-phobic partner? Your partner, you repeat. Still weird hearing that. Good weird or bad weird? The best weird. Thanksgiving hits and you're meeting your family. You warned them. Dysfunctional barely covers it. But they handle it like a champ. Even when your aunt makes inappropriate comments and your dad tells embarrassing stories. Driving home, you're apologizing. Stop, they say. That's your family. They're weird and messy and overwhelming, like everyone's family. Like you. I'm weird and messy. The weirdest, the messiest. It's my favourite thing about you. December brings the conversation you've been avoiding. Future planning, not next spring, next year, next 5 years. Where do you see this going? You're sitting by a fireplace because apparently you're in a relationship serious enough for fireplace conversations now. I used to think planning the future meant giving up adventure, you say slowly. But this year taught me that choosing someone isn't giving up freedom. It's choosing who you want to be free with. So what are you saying? I'm saying I want to choose you. Tomorrow, next month, next year. I want to build a life where we're both growing, both exploring, both becoming whoever we're meant to become. Just together. December 31st, New Year's Eve. You're not at some wild party. You're at home, your home, with your person and your plant, which is somehow still alive. Last year at this time, where did you think you'd be? They ask. Anywhere but here, you admit. Probably in another country, probably alone, probably running from something I couldn't name. And now I'm right where I want to be, not because I have to be, but because I choose to be. Every single day I choose you. That's more freedom than I've ever had. Midnight hits, fireworks outside, kissing someone you love in a home you share. You're not trapped, you're not stuck, you're not settled down. You're free, finally, actually free. Because real freedom isn't running from everything, it's running towards something worth staying for. What 2026 taught you? 7 truths about love and freedom. Commitment isn't a cage when you choose it freely. You can have roots and wings. They actually make each other stronger. Running to something feels different than running from something. The right person doesn't clip your wings, they learn to fly beside you. Being vulnerable takes more courage than being alone. Adventure and stability aren't enemies, they're partners. Real freedom is choosing your life, not avoiding all choices. Your year in moments, January, February. Realizing loneliness isn't freedom. March 22nd, the trail, the person who gets lost with you. April, choosing to be honest instead of casual. May 29th, saying I love you and meaning it. June, first fight, first compromise. July, freaking out but staying anyway. August, meeting family. Understanding base camp. September, October, signing a lease together. November, December, planning a future that excites you. The real story, this wasn't about finding someone. It was about you finally understanding that freedom and love aren't opposites, that you can be committed and still be yourself, that the right person doesn't complete you, they adventure with you. Here's what nobody tells. Sagittarius about love. You think you're afraid of commitment, but you're not. You're afraid of losing yourself, of becoming boring, of being trapped in someone else's idea of what your life should look like. But 2026 shows you the truth. The right relationship doesn't make you smaller, it makes your world bigger. So here's your choice. Keep running. Keep telling yourself you're too free for love. Keep mistaking loneliness for independence. Die alone with a passport full of stamps and a heart full of what-ifs. Or take the adventure of actually staying. March, say yes to that random hike, that unexpected conversation. April, be honest about being terrified instead of running. Say the L word when you feel it, not when it's safe. July, freak out but don't disappear. August, meet the family without planning your escape. October, sign that lease, make that commitment. Stay. Choose, love, grow. Tell me your story. Where are you right now, still running? Met someone who makes you want to stay? Learning what base camp feels like? Drop a comment. Be honest. Your story might help another Sag feel less alone in this. And if this hit different, if you saw yourself in this, if you're ready to stop running, like subscribe, turn on notifications. 2026 is your year to discover that freedom and love aren't enemies. They're the greatest adventure you'll ever take. The question is, are you brave enough to stop running and start choosing?